Morning, guys. So today we are going to talk about rotations. A rotation is our third transformation. A rotation is when you rotate a figure about a point. A lot of times we do this about the origin. We can turn objects two ways. We can turn it clockwise, going this way, or counterclockwise. Oh my God, I can't spell today. Look at that. We need to know the two D's of rotations, which is degree and direction. We have to know what degree we're going and what direction we're going before we can start to actually rotate a figure or a point. So these are our rules. Just like with reflections, we have to remember our rules. Luckily for you, this year you won't really have to do that because most of your tests and quizzes will probably be virtual. For each degree, we can either go clockwise or counterclockwise. I'm going to abbreviate clockwise as CW, counterclockwise as CCW. So if we're going clockwise 90 degrees, our point XY changes to Y negative X. So like we've talked about previous times, that would mean if I have the point 2, 3, I'm changing it to 3, negative 2. So I change the sign of that X value. If we go 90 degrees counterclockwise, it would be negative Y, X. So change the sign of Y and flip them. 180 degrees, we can go clockwise or counterclockwise, and we're actually doing the same thing, same movement either way. We just change the sign of our X and our Y. So these are the same, whether we go clockwise or counterclockwise. Because if I do 180 degrees this way, I get to the same place if I go 180 degrees this way. Think about it as you're standing up and you turn around. No matter which way you turn around to face the other side of the room, you're still going to go the same. Whether you turn to your left or your right, you will still end up facing the same way if you do a 180. 270, we have clockwise and counterclockwise. Clockwise, we do negative YX, which is actually the same as the 90 degree, just an interesting thing. And the counterclockwise is Y negative X, which is the same as 90 degrees. 90 degrees clockwise. Then we have a 360 degrees. We can go clockwise or counterclockwise. No matter which way we go, we're going in the same direction. It doesn't matter which way we do it. We're always going to end up back at that same point. So if we go 2-1, we're still going to end up at 2-1 if we go 360. Okay. So interesting things to note here is that 90 degrees clockwise is the same as 270 counterclockwise, the same rule. 90 degrees counterclockwise is the same as, it's like a tongue twister. 90 degrees counterclockwise is the same as 270 clockwise. If we have a 360 degree, it doesn't matter which direction we're going, our point's going to stay the same. If we have 180, it doesn't matter which direction, we're still going to do the same rule. So let's do some practice here. We have 3, negative 2. Okay, so that's the point XY. This is the reason I'm putting this here is because I'm going to write the rule here. So we're doing 90 degrees counterclockwise. So 90 degrees counterclockwise means XY should translate to negative YX. So I'm going to do that here. So I'm going to change the sign of my Y and put it first. So negative 2 becomes positive 2. And then I'm going to keep my X the same. So this would be my new point. Let's try another one of these. So negative 5, 4. Okay, 180 degrees clockwise would mean I change the sign of x and y. So I'm going to do that here. Be 5, negative 4. Last one. Excuse me. The rule is 270 counterclockwise. So that would take me to y negative x as my rule. So if I translate this to be y negative x, that is going to give me negative 3 because that y stays the same. And then I change the sign of my x. All right, let's flip it over and start to graph here. In order to do these, I would always write out the points. I'd also kind of write out the rule here. So xy is going to translate, if we're doing 180, it's going to be negative x, negative y. We're just going to change the signs. I have the point J, H, and an O or a Q? I'm going to call it an O. And then they each have a coordinate that I want to write down. And then I got to find the J prime, H prime, and O prime. Those will be my new points. So the first thing I'm going to do is write down these coordinates. For J, I have negative 5, negative 3, negative 3, negative 5, and 0, negative 1. Now, all I want to do is I now want to change this sign of x and change the sign of y. So that would give me, changing that sign would be 5, changing that sign would be 3. 3, 5. I can't change the sign of 0. 0 is what it is, so I just leave the 0, change this to a 1. Then I would go ahead and graph it. Instead of graphing it right now with you, this is what my graph should look like. Okay, just for sake of time in the recording. So if you want to pause, you can graph it and see if yours ends up the same. Then we go to this problem over here. Our rule for 90 degrees clockwise, we would change from xy to y negative x. So if I write down my points here, I have the points H, B, F, M. These are my coordinates. And now I want to change all of those coordinates. I want to find the primes of those coordinates by applying this rule. So first I'm going to keep all the y's the same, and they're going to become my x's. So negative 2, 1, 3, negative 2. Then I need my x's to come in my y value place, but they all have to change their sign. So this negative 1 will become a 1, a 5, a 1, a 4. So all of them were negative, so I just changed all of them to positive. Then I'll go ahead and graph this. Negative 2, 1. That's going to be my H prime. 1, 5. It's going to be my B prime. 3, 1. It's my F prime. And negative 2, 4 is my M prime. And then I would connect these dots and shade it in, and that's my answer. Okay, a few more to go here. For sake of time, I will show you how this works, and then I will just show you a picture. So 270 clockwise, our rule tells us we're going from xy to negative yx. My points here, H, U, F. H is at -2, -3. U is at -4, -5. And F is at -1, -5. Now I want to find the prime versions here. So I need to apply this rule. So I'm going to change the sign of all my y's. So that'll become a 3, a 5, a 5. And then I keep my x's the same. And then I'm going to go ahead and plot those points. If you want to pause here and try it yourself, go ahead. But your answer should look like this. Okay. Lastly, they actually give us the points for these. We want to find our V prime, S prime, and G prime. If we're going a 180 degrees, no matter what, it doesn't matter whether we're going clockwise or counterclockwise, so they didn't have to tell us here. We should be changing the sign of X and changing the sign of Y. That's our rule. So for this one, you had to plot both. So I'll just go ahead and do it. So I had to plot 2, 0, 5, 0, and 1, 3. Make sure this is my original, so I don't have any tick marks, and I'm not going to shade it in. For my S prime, I want to change the sign of both of these, so that'll be -2, 0, -1, -3. It's my V prime, S prime, and then this would be -5, 0, G prime. Then I connect these dots and I shade it in, and that would be my answer. The last part here, they're asking us to write the rule. It's kind of hard to see the rule. It's not like reflections and translations where you can just count or you can really see it. So what I like to do is just pick a point and look at their 2 points. So R is -1, 3. R prime is 3, 1. So I like to look at this and think, okay, what happened? Well, I went from X, Y, and then the 3, where the 3 is the Y value, it went here. Okay, so this is how it translated. And then my X value came here, and then the sign changed. So now I want to go to my rule chart and see which one goes to Y -X. Okay, 90 degrees clockwise does, and also 270 counterclockwise. So I could say it's either 90 degrees clockwise or a 270 counterclockwise. Either one of those would work. Okay. This one over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pick a point. So I'm going to go at T. Pay attention. This has all the tick marks. So this is your second image. So I want to start with this T. This T is at point -4, -3. And this T prime over here is at 4, 3. So I can see that the X's and Y's stayed the same, but the signs just changed. So that's that rule, XY to -X, -Y. That's that 180 degrees rotation. It doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. It would be the same thing. So it could be either one. All right, guys, so those are the rotations. We're just rotating about the origin this year, so you won't be rotating about any other points. If you need any help on this, please make sure you reach out. Have a great day.